My name is Jeanette Harper. I am an FBI agent. I'm also the Public Affairs Officer with the FBI El Paso office. I've been in the FBI for 14 years now. April will be 14 years. Started in the Houston office for about 10 and then came back home to El Paso. So, home as I grew up. My grandparents grew up here. He was in the Army. They retired here. All of my family, my dad and aunts and uncles went to Andrus High School, the northeast side, and I followed and graduated from them as well. So I'll give a little bit about the history of myself and becoming into the FBI. I never thought the FBI would want my skill set because I'm a very petite female. My voice is very small in stature, so I'm not going to intimidate a lot of people. And I was a scientist, so before I got into the FBI. So I did a lot of food microbiology, a lot of research and development, that sort of thing. So what would the FBI want to do with something like that? And then as well, I never saw a female special agent. Right? So we've heard over the course of February, we've never seen a lot of Black FBI agents. I never saw any female FBI agents, any minority. I would go to recruiting events, but I'd always pass by the tables like, the FBI doesn't want me, move on. So I actually met a few FBI female agents, and they were just like me. So they had the same skill sets, the same characteristics, and what they told me really opened my eyes that I had a lot of skills that I could bring to the table that were actually more effective and more useful than sometimes my male counterparts. So getting into the Bureau, I use that in my everyday life. So when I go out into the community to recruiting events or just talking with business partners and somebody meeting an FBI agent for the very first time, I always try to recruit them like, yes, you have what we need. We have to hire from a diverse workforce because it takes, just how the saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village of FBI agents to work so many different violations. So we have different perspectives and we can go after the true criminals and protect our community. So any anniversary, especially this one, the 100th year of the African American agent, is important for our history and is also to celebrate the contributions of other agents that have come and have paved the way for future generations to come. So it's very important for us to show the public our diversity, our inclusion, the mistakes and struggles we've had, and where we've come. And where we want to go in the future. So the FBI currently employs over approximately 13,500 agents. Of that workforce, 18% identify as a minority. With that being said, as of October of 2019, we had 4.6% of the workforce was African American, identified as Black agents. So that's 621 out of the 13,589. And I know you'd also asked about if they identified as Hispanic Latino, and that percentage is 6.5% of our special agent workforce. The FBI recognizes that that number is not proportioned to the general population, so we're doing our looking at our recruitment events, our techniques, and going back and since 2016 with former Director James Comey. We've revamped the recruiting efforts to focus on bringing in more diverse and skilled FBI special agent applicants. So it is important that the FBI represents the communities that we are sworn to protect and serve, and that way we can better identify with all the cultures and the values that we work with on a daily basis in our community. Our project with Black El Paso Voice was originally designed to broaden the public awareness about the FBI and the African American history within the FBI, but it quickly evolved into a nationwide FBI project. That way we could just show individuals different perspectives that we talked about earlier, and what everybody can bring to the table for the FBI. Part of the nationwide FBI effort was to dispel the myths about Black FBI agents and also reach the youth to broaden their dreams so they know and they knew that they could become an FBI agent in the future if they wanted to. No one thinks they can become something until they're told or educated on the different avenues such a big world. So if you have somebody telling you that you can't do something, especially if you can't be an FBI agent and they don't know anything about the FBI, or you've never talked to one of us, don't let them sway you the wrong way. Take it upon yourself to take that first step to achieve those dreams, and never let anyone tell you that you can't go after what you want. The FBI does have several recruiting programs in place to go out and proactively reach out to the youth of the Black and African American communities. We have our recruiting aspect, as well as we have our community outreach specialists, our programs that go out. We go into the schools, we go into colleges, we have adopt-a schools, so a lot of the different field offices will adopt a school into the inner city, just to show kids a different way of living, to break the cycle and see out if they feel like they want to be in law enforcement to help protect their own communities. We work with private sector communities, as well as a lot of educational aspects, because what we want to do is have an everyday citizen become an ambassador for the FBI, to lift that veil over those 3 letters and move them out of the way, so you can see what the FBI is about, how we investigate, where we come from, and what we can do for the community. We don't want to be the typical Hollywood special agent where we come in and take over everything. That's not how the FBI is. We are more of a community-based organization, because we can't help protect the communities that we serve unless we have those ambassadors and the people in the community that believe in our brand and believe in our institution. Our extensive liaison relationships that I mentioned before, we have a lot with local fraternities and sororities at a national chapter as well as local chapters. We try to go to a lot of their recruiting events, but our key partnerships with them, those coordinators, you'd say, they ask for us to come and do speaking engagements, not just the typical recruiting table. So that way we can talk about certain topics that may interest the youth or and their possible career paths. So we try to go after high school and college. We want to get individuals young enough so when they start making that decision where they want to go, they know they have to stay out of trouble, how to protect themselves online, like they don't want to put everything of their personal life out there on social media just because it might affect them in the future. So we try to work with them and educate them, and then they can see the personal side, especially our mentoring programs, where we have special agents go to schools and just spend 2 hours with a class every Friday for the school year, and they develop that relationship. It's usually our high-risk classes, high-risk students. That way they can see a different side, and especially since a lot of our agents came either from inner city, or we were raised by our grandmothers like myself, or had a fixed income, and dinner was what's going to be for dinner tomorrow, or are we just eating at school at lunch, right? Or lunch at school. So a lot of us came from those the low income realm, and we've progressed and have made a better life for ourselves. So we want to educate those same type of children and college kids that they can break that cycle and elevate their social standing as well. So we have several current initiatives. The FBI is committed to being a diverse and inclusive workforce. We need to, in order to serve our community and to understand our community and to be able to fit into the community. So when former Director Comey came into the FBI, he stated he noticed a crisis within the FBI. He noticed that the FBI was largely white male dominated, right? As you could seen and heard from some of the statistics that you've read and heard about. So his goal was to institute what we call diversity agent recruiting events, or DARs. So what those are, they're by invitation only, for people that are interested in becoming an FBI agent or just want to know more about that, being an agent. They can come for an information session. They can talk to FBI agents. They can listen to their stories, their their training, their firsthand scenarios, some of the experiences they've gone through with the job. They can relate to the face behind the badge, and we've been very successful. We've seen the last 3 years, we've seen an increase in our diverse applicant pool, our high-level talented applicant pool, but it's still a long way to go, and we understand that, but this is the route that we're going to go, and we have seen an increase. Over the last 3 years, at each DAR event, we've seen an increase of over 27% of the minority applicant pool increase. So we know we still have a long way to go, and we're going to continue to work on expanding those recruitment efforts. So a lot of the recruitment efforts as well will target the HBUs, historically Black universities, and we also will go to, like I said, the inner city, and we want to work with the local liaison groups that do outreach, much like FBI El Paso and Black El Paso Voice right now. Besides this project, we are working with doing educational seminars with the youth in El Paso. So we want to branch away just from focusing in February. We want to focus year round, and try to bring that talented pool into the FBI. Although the FBI has changed a lot since 1908 when it was created, there's still a lot of attributes that we stick to, and those are mainly our core values, where we adhere to the Constitution of the United States, fairness, adaptability, leadership, respect, compassion, and lastly, diversity. When Director Comey came in, he added diversity to our core values, and therefore it will stay. And when Director Ray became our current director, he says that diversity will remain and stay a core value of the FBI from this point forward. Differences in thoughts and belief in your core values is what makes the FBI a strong organization to work with. We need fresh perspectives, and we need to be able to understand all the varied communities that we have in the United States in order for us to remain strong and vigilant towards the threats that are ever facing to the United States and our citizens abroad. And that means today's FBI and tomorrow's FBI will remain diverse and be inclusive for all of our workforce. Every year, each field office submits a recruitment plan, laying out the strategic efforts that we are going to do in order to meet the numbers and reach the goal of recruitment events that we need for diversity. So this year we had to hire over 900 special agents. That was our goal. And of that 900 agents, we were asked to go out and try to do 47% of minority special agent applicants. Our diversity is measured each fiscal year based upon those recruitment plans that we provide to FBI Human Resources Division. And then once we meet our metrics for getting in special agent applicants to the FBI Academy, and then Human Resources Division will then look at each field office and figure out where, through attrition and hiring increases, where we need to send individuals to better serve the communities of those field divisions. At the FBI, we work hard every day to be a diverse and inclusive environment. As Director Ray recently said, connecting with and maintaining the trust of the American people depends in large part of us representing the communities that we serve. And it reflects our country's greatest strength, its variety of cultures and values. We are not perfect, but we try hard to foster an environment of diversity and inclusiveness. Our goal is, once we get a diverse workforce, that we work on inclusiveness, which means we make everybody feel involved in the decision process. They have a say in what's going on within the FBI. We hold all of our employees to a higher standard, and we do not tolerate any discriminatory behavior of any kind. We cannot change the country's past with racism or bigotry. However, we can control how we respond to it as an organization. We can hold all of our employees accountable as we hold each other accountable. I know I've spoken a lot about diversity and inclusion, so how is that monitored, or how is that maintained? The FBI developed the Office of Diversity and Inclusion to be able to better gauge and control the training and the perspective and what it means to be a diverse and inclusive workforce. So in order for them to track the diversity and inclusiveness of the FBI, there are several diversity advisory committees, or DACs, that were established within the FBI. And there are several goals that these committees were set up to do. So these committees encourage employee engagement in inclusive programs, such as like commemorative events, much like the 100-year of the African American Agent, as well as cultural awareness activities and diversity training. The goals and the objectives of these DACs include eliminating discriminatory practices within the FBI, ensuring that all communities of underrepresented workforces are represented within the FBI, enhancing the recruitment and the employment and the retention of a diverse workforce that the FBI brings on board, and identifying employment barriers and working on specific actions to remove those barriers from the workforce. The FBI has many programs that we've initiated that works in line with schools, religious organizations, community organizations, as well as local publications and media outlets to educate the public about the FBI. Many of those are ran through our community outreach specialists, as well as key liaison contacts within the FBI, like the public affairs officer, as well as our private sector coordinator. Just as the FBI strives to learn about our communities, we push that, and we ask that the communities learn about us, to learn the other side of the FBI, not what did they see in Hollywood, right? Because we all know sometimes that's not true. So we want to be able to see the real side of the FBI and how we operate. And again, as I said before, the goals of these programs are for individuals to be our ambassadors, to be able to reach those individuals, to be our voice to the individuals that we can't reach. So when you're at work and you're at the lunch table and somebody talks about something about the FBI and you know that it's not true, you can correct them and actually potentially educate them on behalf of the FBI. So a few of these programs that I mentioned is our Citizens Academy, which is a 6 to 8 week course, meet once a week, and you get overviews of every violation that the FBI works. And you also get an idea of our evidence recovery teams, so how we collect evidence, how we interrogate subjects, how we interview individuals that come off the street with an actual complaint, right? So how we take their complaint and what happens with that information that they give us. We also walk them through an arrest scenario. The hot topic nowadays is the reaction to a shoot, no shoot scenario. So we put individuals in front of a machine to test their reaction skills and for that. So it's easier to see the video afterwards, but when you're in that situation, you understand the training the agents go through and what decisions they have to make when they're faced with that type of situation. We also have a multicultural engagement council, which we take individual key leaders from community organizations and minority groups. We bring them in and we learn from them. We learn what their concerns are in the community, and they learn from us like how we tackle civil rights investigations, the color of law type investigations, domestic terrorism type threats, religious organizations, if they receive a threat, how does the FBI work to tackle that and how we investigate those, right? So we bring them in, we meet quarterly, how often they want, to go over those type of topics. We've also established the community awareness presentation, where anyone in the community can reach out to the FBI and request a topic. And the FBI can come out and send an agent or a subject matter expert to discuss about that topic, much like we have with sextortion or human trafficking or civil rights or the dark side of social media, how to protect your children on social media. So all it takes is an individual working with the FBI to come forward and just request. And we're there, and it's free, and we'll come out and educate. And the audience can be as big or as small as that community individual prefers. The FBI has extraordinarily high standards. Our problem right now is that there is such a high level talent pool out there in the United States, but a lot of these individuals don't think they have what it takes to be an FBI agent. The fact is the FBI wants and needs the diversity within our organization in order to remain strong and effective in the future. The diversity better helps us connect with our witnesses, our victims, and our sources in the community. The diversity within the FBI gives us the credibility that we need in order to operate within the communities that we serve and we protect. Turn that desire that you have to serve into becoming a member of the FBI family and protecting the nation that you live in. Don't let anybody ever tell you that you can't achieve a dream or you can't be somebody that you want to be. Take steps on your own to educate yourself what it takes to get there. Knowing what steps you need is all you need. So you don't need somebody telling you you can't, especially when they don't know anything about your dream and where you want to go in life. Don't be afraid to take that first step to change your life. Take it from a small female from El Paso, Texas, that you can change your life from being in a private sector, looking at doing microbiology in a food lab, and now becoming an FBI agent and working espionage or being a public affairs officer. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do it. Go out and learn and strive to be your best. The FBI has a place for you. You have a lot to offer the FBI, your community, and your nation. It is our duty to remember our FBI history. It is our duty to celebrate those that have come before us and their accomplishments and the diversity they've gone through that have paved the way for many generations after them to be able to work within the FBI. We need to continue to study our history in order to develop that change, to be in a strong, effective organization and remain the premier law enforcement agency that the FBI is.